Hey guys, welcome back. In today's video we are looking at a scenario where the African Union at its peak from Adis's Prose Wixo series came to the real world. And before we get into this, thank you AltScene for making a short about the African Union so I could at least kind of get its shape. I know it's not perfect, and especially this map. I had to combine the map from two things. And yeah, it's not the best. Yeah. But yeah, let's get into the scenario. The first thing that I think would happen would be what's left of Algeria getting annexed into Libya, and the crippled nations down here will form a union, except for Lesotho, or not Lesotho, Sierra Leone, because Sierra Leone had barely any land lost because of the African Union. And yeah, this is what this new nation looks like, which may also get Niger in it, and Burkina Faso, which I could also see perhaps Libya joining, but I think Libya, since it still has Tripoli, would be fine. But yeah, you probably clicked on this for war, and no matter they were a stronghold of democracy in the Wixo series, we're going to be having them a bit, expansionist. And the first nation that the African Union is going to go to war against is Libya. Libya here has lost very important land, especially up here. So, they only really have Tripoli left, and maybe a few other cities along here, which the African Union thinks will be an easy target. So the African Union, from this little dent here, they're going to start, just hugging the coast, and will just start to just occupy the territory until they will reach the city of Tripoli, where the Libyan government is going to hold out, at least for a bit, until, after a bit, the coast region falls, and they just start to go a bit more inward, thinking that they will fall at any moment now. After a few more weeks of fighting, the Libyan government will finally surrender to the African Union, and let's look at a peace treaty. Oh yeah, and the city of Tripoli falls. And in the treaty, they annex basically all of the Libyan coast except for Tripoli, which will become a city-state. And they will just do nothing with the rest of the area here, which will join the crippled nation union. Yeah, they're just crippled, and so they're just going to unite with other crippled nations to hopefully, stand up to the growing power of the African Union. In the Balkans, with the help of Serbia, the African Union will declare war on Albania, Kosovo, North Macedonia, Montenegro, and Bosnia and Herzegovina. Well, to start out, the African Union will make a landing in Bosnia, and will take the coastal regions, and they will also make a landing inside of Albania. What's in the Serbian army, they will have a really quick invasion of Kosovo. With the help of the African Union, they will meet up, and Albania will continue to lose land with no hope of just winning, I guess. Srpska will declare its independence. Little pockets of the Kosovoan army will finally collapse. In the north of Albania, will fall. The city of Skara, I don't know how to pronounce it, will fall. And a stalemate is going to start to be reached, at least in North Macedonia, but the African Union, which will overpower the Albanian army, or what's left of it, will connect up with the Serbians and will squeeze the North Macedonians into this little corner in South and North Macedonia. Bosnia, which is a minefield, will just collapse. Their government will collapse, and a treaty with Montenegro will be signed if Montenegro does not fully collapse. And let's look at this treaty. And in the treaty, Srpska will be annexed into Serbia, so will northern Montenegro, and Kosovo will no longer be recognized. What's left of Bosnia and Herzegovina and Albania and North Macedonia will be annexed into the African Union. But we can see that they barely have a coastline, and so it's going to be hard for the African Union to maintain control of it. But now the African Union, it wants more. It is actually going to buy from the Union of Crippled Nations this land. And you may be wondering, why this land? That is, before the African Union, and before there was West and East Africa, that kind of looks like this, there was a really big empire that stretched from Egypt all the way to up here. I forgot what it was, but it was basically North Africa. And well, they want to form it. And after it bought this land, it's only missing one nation, and it's Egypt. Oh, and yeah, Tripoli, it collapses and has to join the African Union. Yeah, now let's get into the war. Oh, I kind of spoiled it, but yeah, they're going to be going to war against Egypt. Let's see how this plays out, shall we? And the African Union declares war on Egypt. But then for some reason, the Union of Crippled Nations join, and then, not Lesotho, I forgot. That's kind of dumb as a geography YouTuber. But then Spain joins, and Italy, what's left of Italy? What? Why is everyone joining against them? Chad joins? Coast d'Ivoire joins? Ghana? What? Sudan, Eritrea joins? They have to have at least some allies, right? Yes, they do at least have some allies, like Serbia and Nigeria and Ethiopia. Portugal, do you want to join? No. France? No. Actually, yeah. Bulgaria? Yeah. At least they have some allies. This was a bit shocking, I guess. Well, let's see, is this great Mediterranean war, who will win? The African Union troops already stationed on the Egyptian border will be told to start moving quickly. I'm sorry, I'm just really snotty. Alexandria is going to fall to the forces, and they will reach to the mouth of the Nile. Egypt, who actually was shocked for this war, will start losing lands in the Nile very quickly, and they will start to enter into Sudan. Around now, all the other nations would have joined, and Sierra Leone and the Crippled Nation Union would get invaded, but Sierra Leone would fall in only about 2 to 3 weeks, because they are not too powerful. The Crippled Nation Union, at least the areas not in the Sahara, are going to get invaded, because I don't think anyone wants to invade Sahara Desert. Coast d'Ivory will get invaded, with Nigeria making a landing on their border with Ghana. And they will start to follow, I think it's a river there, I could be wrong. But the invasion will start to go really smoothly with barely any faults. And we're going to see Coast d'Ivory get cut off from the crippled nation Union, and Ghana will also start to fall with very little resistance, at least still left. And we are going to continue just to see more and more land fall to the African and Nigerian forces. And the African Union is now one of the most successful nations ever. But then they invade Liberia for no reason. They think it looks better on a map, apparently. What's left of the Nile will start to solidify into a bigger front, as they will continue to take cities like Cairo and Giza. They will start to go down the Red Sea and stop at the Sinai Peninsula, because it's literally a desert. In Ethiopia, they will start to kick back pretty rapidly, and all of Eritrea will fall, because Eritrea is a weak nation, and it's kind of looking like the gold team, which we do not like. If you do, just get out. The gold or / Horn of African team, if you like them, just you need to leave. Eventually they will reach up with Ethiopian forces, and the crippled nation Union will have the invasion from here, which is going to take most of their remaining habitable areas. Coast d'Ivory will finally fall after a year or two of guerrilla warfare. And Chad will start to get invaded. But let's see how the European front is doing. They will make a tiny landing in Italy, which will just take this part of the boot. But now, how about we look at, France and Iberia, shall we? In Iberia, Spain will take the initiative, and France left. They will start invading the African Union, which is a first time in their new world. In the African Union, it is around the 8th strongest nation, I would say. And they can't even hold a defense in their puppet state. And quickly the puppet state will fall back to Spanish forces. But you also have to remember here, they kind of just yoinked it and buffed it. That's what I kind of did. And so you may be like, wouldn't they rise up because they're like Christian and then they're Muslim and all that? No, they kind of have their own religion here, like from the ADIS Pro series. And basically all of Iberia, except for areas in Portugal, are going to fall at least into Spanish forces. But finally talking about it, it's going to fall into Spanish forces. A kickback will start to happen inside of Italy, and Sicily will start to get invaded. But they will eventually hold a front line, and Corsica will have a landing made on it, and so will Sardinia. And back into Africa, a very tiny offensive will be made. But now, both sides, they don't want to continue the war. The African Union, or the crippled nations, surrenders. They kind of just collapsed. Chad surrenders, So does Egypt. And lastly, Sudan will surrender, ending the war. Let's look at a peace treaty, shall we? And for the treaty of this video, no land is going to be really taken from the crippled nation union, except for parts of Niger for Nigeria. But these nations here fully got annexed into the African Union, and what was left of the nations joined the crippled nation union, which is now officially a puppet of the African Union. Nigeria annexes parts of Chad. Ethiopia will take Eritrea and parts of Sudan. They will lose their Iberian holdings. They will also take this part of northern Morocco because they kind of had the leverage. The landings in Corsica and Sardinia will be annexed into Italy. And surprisingly, Albania will take this little boot of Italy. Italy will take the landings inside of Sicily. And Sudan, the remainder of Chad, will join the crippled nation union. And yeah, that's what is going to do it for today's scenario. Please like and subscribe. This map took a long time to actually make because I tried to get Spain right next to Morocco. I'm sorry for that, but please like and subscribe. I'm trying to get to 5K by the end of the summer, and only you guys can help. And yeah, once again, thank you for Altstein for making a edit on the African Union so I could get their borders. Subscribe to him, and yeah, keep on gridding my unknown geographers. Oh, that sounded so cringe.